Hello, everyone. This is Dr. Wolf again. I'm going to edit with you another paper. If you haven't seen my earlier video from today, I suggest you go watch that because in this video, I'm going to kind of blow through some things that I explained in the earlier video. So you'll still get, I think, a lot out of this video, but I recommend you watch the other video I did this morning as well. So we're going to jump right in. This title page isn't formatted exactly correctly. You want to spell out your instructor's name completely, and then the, the due date should be spelled out as well. So that's and then I missed it. What should come here is the department. So this is the Department of Education and then University. Okay. Here we go. So what I'm telling them is not to use questions from the assignment. So you really shouldn't use assignment information in your paper. So sometimes I see students, writing assignment one and then a title or something like that. So don't do that. The other thing is APA does not allow rhetorical questions. And a rhetorical question, in case you don't know, is a question that you don't expect anyone to answer. So you're going to answer it. And we don't do that in APA because the reader wonders, okay, am I supposed to answer this? So number one, don't use assignment information. And secondly, don't use questions. And they really don't need a heading here because they have their title as their level one heading. Here, the student just started writing about the assignment. So you always need an introductory paragraph to tell your reader a little bit about the topic at hand and then what you're going to tell them in your paper. So you need some kind of introductory sentence before you just begin the assignment. Here, this person has extra spacing, and I showed you in the earlier video how to format words so you don't get extra space between paragraphs. Okay, so again, here's another question. This should just be a regular heading. Right down here, I was just commenting on the student's work, so I'll bypass that because it's really for the student. Here, they have a comma after goals, and that's we talked about earlier, if you have two independent clauses or two sentences, a sentence on either side of the conjunction, you need a comma. So on this side, they do have a sentence. I would discuss with them how he might achieve said goals, but offer my help and support in any way I could is not a sentence. So there should be no comma after goals. Same thing here. There's no, this is not a complete sentence, so there should be no comma. Here, we do not use contractions in APA, so that's what I was highlighting here. Here, there's another comma where there should not be. Okay, down here, I was just giving the students some feedback. Here's another example of a comma that should not be there. And down here, because they're using the title of the article as their in place of the author's name, it should be in quotation marks. So the rule for APA is if you use the title, you can use the complete title, or you can just put the first 2 to 3 words that identify the resource. So that's why I gave this student the option. They could put in the whole title or just the first couple words, because that's enough. When you go down to the references, the first couple words is enough to identify which reference they are referring to. Okay, so just highlighting, they're supposed to do that again. And okay, so that was it. Pretty good here. Okay, so in this article, they've got the wrong author. So I think I kept it open. No, I did not. So I'm going to show you how I know that person was not the author. So I generally go in and check all the references that my students provide, just to make sure it's a valid reference, and to make sure they formatted, I got all the information correctly. So what they did was they came down here and found a quote. So they said that the person being quoted was the author, and that's not correct. So really, this should just be addressing active learning challenges, no date, and then the organization, which is the Center for Educational Innovation. So really what this ideally should look like is this. So center, because this is the sub organization, I guess. So we put that, and then we put the title in italics. And, if you have a blog, the name of the organization is what is italicized. I think that was Minnesota. Let's check. Yep, University of Minnesota, and then the URL. That's really what that reference should look like, but what they did is okay. So, and then, so when you have a reference, you're using the title, and the title starts with a numeral, so not a number, but a numeral. That reference should be first in your list. So just like, I missed it, this one should be alphabetized in the I's. So do not use the in alphabetizing references. In this case, use importance to alphabetize. Okay, and then here, they're spelling out THREE. And if this were spelled out, if this were a number written in word form, that would be correct. But since it's a numeral, it needs to go to the very first reference. Okay. All right. So, yeah, that's all for this paper. It was very well written. There weren't too many mistakes in APA, but I did want to point out some of those because a lot of this is very common. So I hope this has, again, been of value for you. Let me know if you have any questions or concerns, and I'm here to help.